Hello and welcome to Sterling Tuition's question tutorial. So this type of question has come up recently in one of the papers that I actually produced myself, where you've got dividing a number by 100 and then multiplying the answer by 10 is the same as what. Now you can make this very easy for yourself. So the key thing here is recognizing that if you divide by 10 and you multiply by 10, it actually cancels each other out. So if I did 3 times 10 divided by 10, I would just end up with the answer 3, because divide by 10 and multiply by 10, they cancel each other out. So this is the principle and the fact and the key thing that you need to know to be able to do this. So basically all you do is you write down what it tells you. So dividing the number by 10, so I write that, dividing by 100, and then multiplying the answer by 10 and put that below, multiplying it by 10 is the same as what. So what you do is, because a multiply by 10 cancels out a divide by 10, if I score out one of the zeros here, it cancels out one of the zeros from the divide by 10. Now there's no other zeros to cancel out, and all I am left with here is a multiply by 1 and a divide by 10. And if you times something by 1, you end up with the same answer. So that isn't going to affect the answer. So all you're left with is the divide by 10, which would give you the actual answer to this type of question. And it all comes down to recognizing dividing by 10 and multiplying by 10, they cancel each other out. So another example of this one, so dividing a number by 100 and then multiplying the answer by 1000 is the same as, so again we cancel out the 0 from the divide by 100, which means we need to cancel out a 0 because the divide cancels out the multiply, and then we cancel out the other 0, which will cancel out another 0 from here. So I've cancelled out 2 zeros, cancelled out 2 zeros, and I'm left with the multiply by 10, which is the answer. So that's an important fact, an important skill to be able to do, and this question sort of goes through, and if you look in the description there's a few questions that go through that. Now this here skill also links to the next type of question that I'm going to go through as well. So this one here, so look at the calculation below. So 1280 times 185 equals, let me work it out, 236,800. Now we need to use this calculation. So it says tick the calculations below that would give the same answer as the calculation above. So we need to use this calculation and these calculations to see if we get the same answer. And this is where the divide by 10 and the multiply by 10 and how the fact that they cancel each other out is important. So we look at what's happened to 1280 to turn it into 128.0. Well, it's been divided by 10. And then what has happened to 185 to turn it into 1850? It has been times by 10. So these effectively cancel each other out. The divide by 10, the multiply by 10, it's balanced, which would mean it would still give us the same answer. And we do this again. So we've got 12.80. This has been divided by 100. What has happened to 185? Nothing has happened. This isn't balanced. So it will give a very different answer, an answer which will actually be divided by 100. So that will not work. Now what has happened to, we've got 128,000 here. It has been times by 100. What has happened to 185 to turn it into 1.85? It has been divided by 100. We have our balance. It cancels each other out. So this would still give us the same answer. And then this one here, we have got, this one has been divided by 10. And this one has also been divided by 10. It is not balanced. They don't cancel each other out, so the answer would actually be divided by 10 and then divided by 10, so it would give you a different answer. So it needs to be balanced. And another example, so we've got 6,250 times 51 equals 332,520. So what's happened to 6,250 to turn it into 625? It's been divided by 10. What's happened to 51 to turn it into 5.1? Divided by 10. Not balanced. It will not work. Okay, they don't cancel each other out. 625 again has been divided by 10. The 51 has been times by 10 to turn it into 510. We have our balance because the divide by 10 cancels out the multiply by 10. This would give us the same answer. Then we have this one, which has been divided by 100, and this one here has been times by 100 to turn 51 into 5,100. Divide by 100 is cancelled out by the multiply by 100. It is balanced. It would give us the same answer. And then this one here has been divided by 1000. This one here has been times by 100. Very close to being balanced, but not balanced because if we cancel those two and cancel those two, it would still mean that the answer would be divided by 10. So not balanced means it will not work. So hopefully that's helpful, but the key fact is remembering that a divide by 10 and a multiply by 10 would cancel each other out, and you can make these types of questions very, very straightforward for yourself. And that's the end of the question tutorial from Sterling Tuition.